Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's folks. I used to say folks, but ladies and gentlemen, because you afford that moniker. Okay. All right. Hey, guess what? We're streaming at an extra place today, so that makes Twitch, that makes Kick, Rumble, and Telegram. Four and counting. Let's see, it's Tuesday. It's 7:01 p.m. on 8/5 of 2025. I still am amazed that I'm still alive. You know, when I was a kid, you looked at. My dad took me to see 2001: A Space Odyssey, and that was all fine and well. But I sat there going, 2001. When the movie's on, I'm sitting there calculating. You know, I'm like, let's see, that came out in '68, so I was 9 years old. So I'm sitting there going, okay, 2001 minus 1968, and that brought us to like 41, I think, like that. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to be like 41 years old, or 42 in 2001. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I can't even comprehend being 41 years old, you know. That was my young mind, you know, I don't know. Pardon me, folks. I got an itchy nose for some reason. Anyway, so I've been having a lot of fun at Chat GPT lately, asking a lot of questions, and I'm really surprised at some of the answers I'm getting. I'm getting answers that I would get from believers if I were to talk to believers. And well, who programmed this thing? I think maybe they hired a couple of pastors or something that just went hog wild putting information in. I don't know. But anyway, it's been giving me some interesting results, and I'm going to share some of those with you tonight. I told it that I wanted to do a show tonight, and that I wanted to do it on some subject that is out of the mainstream, something you wouldn't hear in church, something you probably wouldn't hear at a casual setting. God forbid a bar. I don't go to bars, but you know, people talk there a lot, or anywhere else, you know. And so it came up with this subject. I'm going to tell you here because it's the subject of the show tonight. The rise of the digital gods is AI the new Tower of Babel. Very interesting, huh? And at least I think it is. And since this is my show, I'm going to present that. By the way, the show is growing, and I want to thank everybody that has gone out and told people about the show, or written to them about it and said, hey, you got to listen to this, because it's I don't make any money, folks, in this show. You know, my attempts to make money in this life have been futile, except for going out and working on hard labor, you know, and getting paid for that. But so I didn't expect to make any money, and I really don't care, except that, you know, it'd be nice. Like I told you last show. Our car decided to take a dump on us, and it's not fixable. So tomorrow we're going to a car dealership and trying to deal with them and pick up a very old used car, because that's all we can afford. So anyway, that's life. That's what people say. Oh, sorry, a little bit of Frank Sinatra coming out in me there. By the way, he was from New Jersey. I don't know if you knew that. I'm from New Jersey. He was from New Jersey. Yeah, so I guess some good people came from there, although right now I can't think of anybody that's great in New Jersey. And if you're from New Jersey and you're watching this show, then you're the first one that is a nice and great person that is from New Jersey. So, I mean, other than myself and a few others, you know. Yes, I'm going to give myself some credit. Somebody's got to give me credit, huh? I don't get any around here. Just kidding. So anyway, ChatGPT gave that to me. I can't say that real fast. That's why I sound like I've got some problems when I say it. Anyway, so I was thinking, okay, now I got to get ready for the show, because I got to look up scriptures, you know, of course, and I got to look up other things, and then all these things started cavalcading into my head. For instance, we're going to look tonight at, is the United States the Babylon that's talked about in Revelation? Interesting. It could very possibly well be. It's. I hope not. I really hope not. But hey, it's. If it smells like a duck and quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, then it's probably a duck. And I don't know. There's, I think it's 60 reasons that the United States ways that the United States parallels with the Babylon mentioned in Revelation, and also the Babylon existed at the time of the prophets. Okay, so that's probably going to be the first thing we're going to do. I'm going to go through that list, and that I can shut that part of the program, or what I'm researching, down. So another to keep busy, like I really need to keep busy, right? I've also gotten back into genealogy. I've always liked looking back at my ancestors and see what they do, and thanks to Chat GPT, I was able to trace my Italian grandfather back 3 more generations, his ancestors, all the way to Sicily in the 1700s. I never thought I would do that, but it happened. And so anyway, I'm trying to think of a way to get started here. And I think probably the best way would be to see how the United States parallels Babylon, okay? And then we're going to go into other things. Well, let me look at my list. I'll kind of read them off for you, okay? We're going to be looking at the biblical foundations, all right? Is artificial intelligence becoming modern-day Tower of Babel? Okay, we already said that. Modern Babel, AI as the ultimate control system, or ultimate control freak, as the case may be. Transhumanism in the image of the beast. Oh, that's really popular and very scary. Let's see. Predictive programming and the psychological setup. Okay. And we can muse about those things and think about them. And I don't have a chat set up. I'm sorry. There's just too much going on my screen here. So I'm going to try to put another screen in here for Thursday, so that I can have all the stuff going over there while I have OBS running here. So anyway, hopefully today will be a very informative and thought-provoking show. I know it's got me going. So, one good authority about Babylon in the United States is Jim Wilhelmsen, and he told me years ago that explained to me about the parallels between the United States and Babylon, and he made that click in my brain, and I appreciate and love anybody that can make my brain click, and that's why I look like Yahweh so much, man. I lose something in the house, I say, Yahweh, show me where it is, Father, and then all of a sudden, bam, there it is. It's amazing how that works. Okay. Sorry, I just got so much going on here, right here. Okay. So, so let's look at that list, okay? So Jim got me started on that, and a lot of other subjects too, and it's like he pitched the ball and I hit it, and he kept pitching balls and I kept hitting them, and I think our team is doing a lot better than the other team is doing, okay? So, I got to find out where did I put that file? Oh, here we go. All right, so I'm going to kind of block me out. And I'd really like to include you guys in on this, but I think it would take longer for me to try to figure out how to do that than it would be just for me to kind of go into it. So here we go. So the 60 character traits of Mystery Babylon, okay? The premise being that the United States is Mystery Babylon. The Jewish population issue, it goes without saying. The Jews at that time, actually, it was the tribe of Judah and Benjamin and Levi were all captive in the land of Babylon. They were taken there by Nebuchadnezzar because they didn't listen to Jeremiah, who said, you know what, you guys just need to chill. You guys just need to let them come in, go with them to Babylon, and everything will be good. And that's what Yahweh promised. But the kings and stuff, the ruling class, shall we say, And the false prophet said, no, 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 that's a trick, that's a lie, we can't believe that, they're going to kill us. Yeah, well, I would rather take a chance the first way than piss off the Babylonians and know that they're going to kill me. So Jeremiah talked about that. Let's see, Jeremiah 58, flee from the midst of Babylon and go out of the land of the Chaldeans and be as male goats before the flock. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Flee from the midst of Babylon. This is Jeremiah 51:6. Let everyone save his life. Be not cut off in her punishment. For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, the repayment he is rendering her. Ooh. Yeah, let's go one more. Isaiah 48:20. Go out from Babylon, flee from Chaldea, declare with a shout of joy, proclaim it, send it out to the ends of the earth. Say, the Lord has redeemed his servant Jacob. Okay, and we know that the United States is, I think that right now even, I think there's more Jewish people in the United States than there is in Israel. Okay, I think we had like 1/3 of all the Jews in this country, of all the Jews in the world living in this country, and living rather peaceful lives. Yes, there's always a little Semitism. I shouldn't make light of it. It's very important and very sad, but there's always some of that around. But for the most part, the Jewish race has prospered in the United States. Thank you, Yahweh. Okay, what's number 2 here? The chief city of Mystery Babylon is a deep water port. Well, certainly Babylon isn't, and Baghdad isn't, and even on the coast I forgot what strait that is. Okay, no, that's the Strait of Hormuz. But anyway, if you go up to the end, you have Iran and Iraq, and neither of them have a deep water port, and so it's got to be something other than that, and the United States fits that perfectly. Man, how many deep water ports do we have? Los Angeles, Seattle, Houston, down in Florida, and I probably missed about 8 or 10 of them, but even Chicago, I guess what you would consider a deep water port. The only one I would assume in the Great Lakes. So let's see here. I'm not going to read the scriptures on this particular thing, okay, folks, because there's 60 of these. I don't know if I'm going to read all of them, but if I do that and read the scriptures at the same time, we're going to be here till kingdom come. Okay. Number 3, it is the key commercial nation and engine of wealth for the world's economy. Well, everything's based on the dollar, at least it was until about a couple of years ago. But still, the dollar plays an important role, and still is the key element to the world's financial system. So you can argue about that, but I think that you wouldn't win that argument. Let's see. Number 4, it's the principal commodities trading center. Well, there you go with New York again. Stock market's in New York. Garment trade is in New York. You name it. It's in New York, mostly on Manhattan, of course. But yeah, everything is done there. And I guess at one time, before China took over and the Japanese earlier on, but a lot of things were made in New York too and shipped all around the world. So let's see. All right. Oh, okay. That's numbers 4 through number 21. Okay. Well, that's good. That kind of shortens things up a little bit. Number 22. It's a leading center of imports and consumption. And let's see. I will read scripture here. Revelation 18:1, the English Standard Version. And the merchants of the earth weep and mourn for her, since no one buys their cargo anymore. And later on in the same chapter, for in a single hour all this wealth has been laid to waste, and all shipmasters and seafaring men, sailors, and all whose trade is on the sea, stood afar off, and cried as they saw the smoke of her burning. What city was like, saying, what city was like the great city? And they threw dust. I'm assuming it doesn't continue, but I'm assuming that the practice back then was to throw dust in the air and cover your head with it. It was a sign of great sorrow, or that you were going through a lot of angst. She is also, number 23, she is also the manufacturing nation, okay? Revelation says, okay. You can go to Revelation 18:22 to see that one, okay? Okay, number 24, Center of Merchandising and Marketing. Well, that has a kind of a lot to say, or kind of mimics what was said earlier. Number 25, known as the world's policeman. Yeah, that goes without saying. You know, I don't even have to expound on that. Every time there's trouble around the world, or it seems like every time, we're there to back one party up and destroy the other party. Our whole history has been like that, or at least since our whole history, right from the very beginning. Okay. Number 26, known for showing the flag or gunboat diplomacy. Yeah, you guys better straighten out, or we're sending our aircraft carrier over there. How many times have you seen that in the last few years, right? Yeah, it sounds like one boat, but realizing that every carrier group, it's a group, has 2 or 3 destroyers, some cruisers, supply tender, you name it. So it's not just one ship; it's a small navy. But they're always told, you better straighten up, or we're gonna park our ships out there, and if need be, blow you to kingdom come. Okay, number 27, noted for its elegant, luxurious, refined, and rich lifestyles. Boy, you ever look at, sometimes they show these things and you'll see, they make the stupidest looking dresses and try to get people to think that they're going to wear these someday. It's like, they never work out. They always go flop, and sorry for the dogs, folks, but we're out in the country and that's the way it is. But and so these things are elegant. Yes, they're either covered in sequins or cubit zirconium or something. But yeah. Anyway, and then you see it with the elegance with the elite, the deep state, the rich. Oh, great! Now I got somebody firing a gun next door. Well, if you hear a pop, that's what that is. Okay. Okay, let's see. Number 28, extremely wealthy. That speaks for itself. Number 29, a sensual and materialistic lifestyle. Yeah, Babylon had that for sure. Ancient Babylon did, and you'd be a person would be a fool to say that the United States doesn't have that nowadays. It's much to our disdain and much to our disgust that our image is, the porn stuff is made somewhere, and it's usually down in Hollywood or New York or something like that, I think, anyway. And we're known as kind of the capital for that. So anyway, number 30, the highest living standards. Babylon had a very high standard of living when it was at its heyday back in the times of Isaiah and Jeremiah. Okay. Let's see, number 31, intoxicating high society lifestyle as a world example to emulate. Boy, is that something. It's, it's, how could it, nobody could deny this. It's, you got, if one of the, let's see, movie star, one of the young movie stars, a kid, buys a certain sort of jeans, everybody's got to have them. It's I got a suicidal fly in here, folks. If I ever catch that sucker, he's dead meat. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, okay. Example to emulate, and the rest of the world does it. And the shame of it is that, yes, there are people in this country that can live that kind of lifestyle, but it's shown off as a lifestyle that everybody needs to live in order to be successful or free or whatever, as a symbol of that. But it is definitely not a good thing. Number 32, elegant, sumptuous lifestyle. Yep. Keeping up with the Joneses, isn't that what it's called? You know, the Joneses just went out and bought a brand new Cadillac SUV. So you don't like Cadillacs, but you go out and buy a Lincoln SUV. So now both of you are in debt for a couple $100,000 or $100,000 each. Yeah, maybe not that high right now, but it'll go up that high. Anyway, and the houses is another thing. You know, my friend at work, you know, he's got a 3,000 square foot house, so we got to buy a 4,000 square foot house. So I have bragging rights, and I can come into work and be the top notch dog, you know. And that's shameful too, that practice. Okay, number 33, noted for its bright, gaudy colored lights and nightlife with round the clock partying. That's what happened the night that Babylon fell. I don't know if you remember that, but the son of Nebuchadnezzar, I believe it was his son, yeah, went into the storehouse where all the temple artifacts were kept. And we're talking, you know, these are cups that are made out of gold and silver and bronze and you know, very, very beautiful works of art that were meant only for the temple. And he breaks them out to have a party and brags about Babylon. Well, that was basically the Lord Yahweh said at that time, that's it. And remember the story about the hand that came out of nowhere and just started writing on the wall? You've heard the phrase, the writing is on the wall. What was it? Many, many tekel upsharin. In other words, if I try to say what it means, I'm gonna screw it up, but I'll try. Many are your bad ways, and tonight your kingdom is taken from you. And it's funny because after the Medes and Persians entered into Babylon, I think it was like 2 weeks before most of the population of Babylon knew that they had been conquered. What they did is Babylon was separated by a river. It was a city that had a wall and a river, and it had a gate, not a gate, but you know, like an arch that let the water flow through, and one at the other end that let the water flow out. And they put like an intrusion screen on it. The only thing I can think of like a cage of rebar, but it didn't go all the way down to the bed of the river. And so what the Medes did is they dammed up that river, and when it was totally dammed and not flowing anymore, they snuck in there, going right under the gate, and took over the city. And yeah, that's what you get when you mess with Yahweh's stuff. Okay, let's see. Noted for its drug and drug use. Well, I don't know that drugs were rampant back then, but it seems like every society that's rich has a drug problem, and it wouldn't surprise me if they did in Babylon. What that drug was, I have no idea. I would assume that maybe poppies was one of the things, and hold on, folks, I gotta. Let me see here. I gotta text somebody here about trying to stop that the gunfire next door, because it's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, let's see. Hey there. Could the gunfire stop? I'm trying to do a show over here. Thanks a lot. Love you guys. Bye. Well, hopefully that'll end pretty soon. Okay, drug use. It was probably poppies and other things that they could procure from the plants and stuff that grew around the area. Okay, number 35, noted for exporting its culture abroad. Well, there's another thing that doesn't need to be expounded on very much. Let's see, number 36, noted on for being wasteful and extravagant. Well, the story about the party and then writing on the wall is another example of, yet another example of the extravagance that that they had, and no different from the United States. You know, you have the rich people that have their balls they go to, and their cotillions and everything else. I know I'm using old-fashioned words, and I'm sorry, but that's all I know. I'm old-fashioned. I'm an old-fashioned person because I'm old. By the way, I have a good friend that's probably listening tonight. I've known him for, well over 45 years, I think. When I first got saved, I was introduced to him. So all I'm just going to say is one name. Hi, Lou. And if you're there with Joel, hey, thanks for tuning on in. And we'll talk soon. Okay? God bless you guys. All right. Let's see, culture abroad, so that's pretty self-evident. Noted for being wasteful and extravagant. Okay, well, that kind of talks about that, like, we've read that about 2 or 3 times already. But yeah, it's, it's, how do I put this? Again, with the cars, everybody could get along with a smaller car and just driving it. But, we have to have and it's good because it's our right, I feel, to have big things and nice things and stuff like that, big houses and stuff. But there comes a point when it's too much and too extravagant. Both places had a massive population. Lots of people lived in Babylon. Man, what a city that was. The walls, they say, were, what was it, 100 feet wide, and they used to have chariot races around the top of the wall. That just goes to show you how big that wall was down there, or over there. Okay, so, and then when they used to conquer people and bring slaves in, and the conquered people would be their subjects, it got even bigger. Okay, again, it's a land of immigrants. A lot of people went there because they thought they could have a better life, just like they come to the United States because they think they can have a better life. And of course, you'll have your fools that'll tell them, yeah, come on over. It's okay, and we'll even make you citizens afterwards. Let's go, Brandon. Okay. That's land of immigrants. Okay, number 39. Unique and awe-inspiring for its birthright up to its demise. So, that speaks for itself also. Number 40, a remarkable different heritage. They were unlike the peoples of that were all around them. And the people that they conquered, they would put to work, because we're going to be talking about the Tower of Babel tonight, so if you became a slave of the Babylonians, that's probably what you worked on, and you worked until you died at it. So, anyway, I guess my text didn't work, but hey, I tried, right? Okay. Let's see, a remarkably different heritage. Yeah, okay, that's where we're going. Yeah, they were basically Nimrod was probably a Nephilim. Most people think that, and he was. They called him a hunter, and they didn't call him necessarily a hunter because he went after animals, but because he was skilled in warfare and was very good at killing other people. So, but anyway, that's the kind of culture that they have. Whereas a lot of the Canaanite tribes, they were farmers and everything else. Babylon was a lot different than that. Yes, they had farmers, but a lot of times they would just, the people that they conquered, they would commission them to grow their vegetables and their meat and everything else, and then take it from them by force. So that's not something we really do that I know of, but it wouldn't surprise me if I found out later on that we did it. Okay, respected, envied, yet hated by the whole world also. Well, again, that doesn't have to be explained. That's the United States. Powerful and oppressive. Yeah, not so much this year and the next 3 years, but yeah, powerful and oppressive. Running other governments, ruining governments, sponsoring coups, running coups, paying for coups. The whole 9 yards. It's been excessive, and the United States has been guilty of it many, many times. Number 44, land of rebels in its birth. Well, I can't think of a more studious or more using that the word rebel. I can't think of a country or a tribe or anything like that was more rebellious than the early Babylonians. Hence, we have the Tower of Babel. Its purpose was to reach God. And they actually wanted to break into heaven and do war with Yahweh and take the kingdom over. And number one, they couldn't do it, but number two, the fact that you were willing to try to do something that's stupid yet ingenious speaks a lot for the people that were doing it. Powerful and oppressive, that speaks for itself. Land of rebels in its birth, I just did that. Okay, sorry. We're up to 45. Cosmopolitan and urban. Okay, so you had the city of Babylon, but outside of it, you had all your farms and everything else, and which brings us to the next one, a land of agriculture. The United States used to feed the world. Used to export grain and everything else, and the Midwest was known as the breadbasket of the world. And it, to some extent, might be true still yet today, but not like it was in the past. I'd say the past 50 or 60 years. It was an international city. Well, most of our cities are. Just look at the population that lives in those cities. It's even the smaller cities are getting overrun by people from other countries, to the point where you don't feel like you feel like you're a foreigner in your own country. I know, because Sacramento was getting that way when I lived down there, and it was really getting out of hand. And anyway, let's see. Number 48, architecture, buildings, and skyline. Well, okay, that goes without saying. Number 49, land of many waters, fresh waters. The Tigris and Euphrates both ran through the territory of Babylon, now known as Iraq. But the one that ran right through the city was Euphrates. And now the Euphrates is drying up because there's a prophecy that says when the Euphrates dries up, the kings of the east are going to come and attack. So, okay, let's see. Okay, did that one. Number 50 were the world's leaders streamed to meet. Wow. A little building over there in New York City called the UN building. Just kidding, it's a gigantic building. And that's where all the leaders of the world meet. So, and plus all the little embassies and consulates and stuff that are in a lot of the cities here too. So you can add those in. Anyway, 51, last of the superpowers. That's kind of dubious, and I don't necessarily agree with this one because it was, I think it was probably more like first of the superpowers, the ancient Babylon was, and so I can't really give them the title of the last of the superpowers, and that is true for the United States, however, and although I think that China and Russia could give us a run for their money if they really had to. So, all right. Let's see. No fear of invasion. Well, since it was the strongest army in the world, the Babylonian army, and they probably had a navy too, I'm thinking, because they were right on the waters there, and so they didn't really fear invasion. And when you're the most powerful, you don't have to. However, I don't agree too much with this because they were invaded first of all by Media Persia. Toward the end of, I don't know, it was like 500 or 400 BCs, I can't remember. But, so they were invaded, and they were attacked several times by the Egyptians and, again, the Medes before they finally won. So, and I think even when they weren't powerful at all, and the Medes were starting to go on a decline, the Greeks came in and really changed a lot of things. They did most of the Middle East anyway. Okay, number 53, defenses reach up to outer space. That's very interesting. Now, there's a scripture in Jeremiah that says, and I'm going to read it here, though Babylon should mount up to heaven, and though she should fortify her strong height, yet destroyers will come from me against her, declares Yahweh. Okay? So, yeah, I mean, look, we've militarized space. If you don't believe that, then I don't know what to tell you. That started with Reagan, and I do believe that they went up there and they put weapons up there. I don't know if they put them up there necessarily to quell an earthly conflict, or if it's something that they were pointing the other way towards outer space to maybe take care of extraterrestrials that were going to come to Earth and try to war with Earth. And he believed in those. He several times, 2 or 3 times at least, he did speeches where he basically said, wouldn't it be a nice thing if all the worlds had to band together because there was a threat from outer space? And at least 3 times he said it, and in front of very large audiences. One of them was the UN. Okay, let's see, number 54. Occult aspects, especially within the governmental leadership. My goodness, that is so true. It's not even funny. They're finding out now that they were holding satanic services in the White House. That they and underneath the White House, they were doing all kinds of evil crap. But yeah, it's and the same for old Babylon too as New Babylon. So. No arguing there. Number 55. Alliances, treaties allowing physical military bases of operation for the satanic forces. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see what it says in Revelation. Maybe they're talking about something future here. And he called out with a mighty voice, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling place for demons, a haunt for every unclean spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean and detestable beast." So, there you have it. Okay, number 56, its national symbol. All right, Revelation, robed woman with a cup-like container in one hand that smells like natural gas odors inside the container, and the woman is connected to water and immigration, and is considered to be a mother figure of spiritual prostitution, such as Ishtar, the mother of literal and physical prostitutes within religious worship centers. Okay, this is what the Babylonian goddess Ishtar was, the promoter of physical prostitution, salvation by sex. Having sex with a temple priest or priestess, and you are purified from sin. Jeez. A lot of times, my text was answered. A lot of times, let's see. Yeah, well, you take the Catholic Church, for instance. The only one that has the authority to forgive sin is Yeshua, and that is done when you come to Him and humbly lay your pride aside and say, "Hey, Yahweh, I've been a schmuck, and I've really hurt a lot of people." God says that the sacrifices that He likes are a contrite spirit and a humble heart. Enough said. Okay, let's see. Iraq is radioactive. Iraq is now extremely radioactive because America's use of ammunition that uses depleted uranium, the same basic component used in nuclear weapons, only in a lesser strength and in and of itself. Rifle bullets and artillery shells were packed with a small amount of radioactive depleted uranium. Once fired, the shells and bullets spread small doses of radioactivity throughout much of Iraq, especially in hot spots like ancient Babylon. Each bullet or shell was thought to be seemingly harmless in terms of radioactivity, which what was not anticipated was the voluminous use of such radioactive materials scattered across the battlefields of Iraq. Such voluminous use has created large quantities of low-level radioactivity that has in volumes created a dangerous atmosphere and the environment for virtually all of Iraq. Okay. We got about 3 left, right? That's 57 plus 3 is 60. Okay. Okay, number 58. Messianic covenant to Abraham included Babylonia and Babylon. Yeah, believe it or not, the promises made to Abraham regarding the promised land were for Abraham and his descendants, and the lands were far more extensive than ever used by Israel up until this point in time. Okay, let me just see here. Often overlooked by many Bible prophecy experts are the prophecies concerning the future borders of Israel when Yeshua HaMashiach returns and establishes new borders for Israel's millennial kingdom, and finally fulfill the promises made to Abraham and his descendants. Let's see. Israel's future borders will be extended eastward and encompass much of Iraq, what today is called Iraq. The area will include all of the old Hittite and Chaldean empires, and it will include all of the land which means the ancient Babylon and Babylonia are part of the new Messianic Israel. That's true. That's true. Okay, let's see. America conquered Iraq and Babylon in 2003 and retained strategic control of that land and will retain that control most likely until America, the Babylon, is destroyed in divine judgment as the Mystery Babylon. Probably a good idea to leave the old and the new Babylon, the ideas of them in the same genre. Okay, the most literal of all, a populated city named Babylon on the Deepwater Port entry way up to New York City. Okay, so we talked about that earlier. All right, and then the guy has his book down here. Anyway, so that kind of ends how Babylon and the United States kind of mimic each other, or are kind of like twins separated by thousands of years. And will receive the same judgment too, actually. So, okay. So now let me, if I can figure out how to do this. I think I got it here. I want to call up this document. Okay. All right. So, let's take in the assumption that the new gods of our age aren't found in the heavens, okay, even though the extraterrestrials would love for you to believe that. And they're not extraterrestrials anyway, they're fallen angels and demonic, okay? But are instead being built in secret, coded in silence, and worshipped without question. Okay. Getting freaked out yet? Okay, so we're going to peel back the digital curtain and ask a question that might seem outlandish on the surface but becomes chillingly real once we look deeper. Is artificial intelligence becoming the modern-day Tower of Babel? I don't think this goes into the history of the tower. Back when this was happening, the Tower of Babel, that sucker got so high it said that it would take, I think it said it would take a day or more for a worker who started at the bottom to walk all the way to the top. Men would start working there and die, and they died there. Probably just kicked over the side, of course, but you know, probably the worst job in the world, and one that you would never want to receive, but many of them didn't have a choice in the matter. But so it was very, very high. You know, I don't, in the terms of our buildings today, I don't know. I can't answer that, but it certainly was tall. And Yahweh said that he got together and you know, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, I believe, went down and looked at this thing and said, hey, this is quite a work here, and these guys have made it so that if anything that they think up, they can do. Okay? And if God says that, if Yahweh says that, then it must be true, right? So you have to kind of think of some way to humble them. Okay? And the way that he humbled them was really ingenious. And if there's I'm trying to say, a new modern way that this is going to happen in the United States, it'll be really interesting to see it happen. Sad because I live here, but maybe it'll be after we're all called out of here. Hold on a sec. I make really good iced tea. I don't like to brag. Okay. So I've been telling you about getting on the Chat GPT and what I've been doing on it, stuff like that. And it seems to be modern things to do. Okay, a lot of people are doing it. I'm not introducing to you something that you haven't done or something you've never heard of or anything else. But if you have kids, they're probably on it all the time, asking all kinds of crazy questions. And when my grandkids come in and I have Chat GPT on, you would not believe some of the questions that they ask. Some of them are very good questions. Others are silly, to say the least. So in our common day and age, AI, embodied in machines, can write poetry, predict crime. That's really scary. Conduct warfare, and even deliver sermons. But beneath the surface of convenience and innovation lies something ancient, something spiritual, a rebellion as old as time itself, something dead wrong. And and I thought I had put notes in here. I wonder if I opened up the wrong... Oh no, they're here. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, folks. I had to go down and look because I sometimes I call up the wrong document. All right, so we're gonna now look at step into the matrix farther. We're already in the matrix. We live in the dang matrix, and but let's dig a little deeper into that rabbit hole and see what we can find down there. Just like what was it, Nee did it in the Matrix. Let's experience what it's like. And we don't need to take a blue pill either, or a red pill, because it's right in front of us and there's no way to get around it. Let's see. So then we're going to find out about the rise of digital gods and what it really means for humanity. Okay? It's not all roses, folks. Matter of fact, none of it's roses, and we'll see here in a minute. So let's go back and look at the Tower of Babel, okay? Again, this time with some scriptures and stuff. Genesis 11:6 says, okay, and I just said it before anyway. The Lord said, or Yahweh said, as one people speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, the Tower of Babel, and all that was around it, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Now, think about this, folks. They all spoke the same language before Yahweh went down to look at all this stuff. So there wasn't, you didn't have, one of the things that cracked me up is when I get stuff from my healthcare plan, Kaiser, there's like 15 or 20 different languages that it comes in, or explains how they can learn more if they get on the phone or go on the internet or whatever. And, but before the destruction of the Tower of Babel and the dispersing of the people, that wasn't the case. Everybody spoke the same. And but can you imagine if let's just say you and your family. Okay, use me for an example. We have my wife and I and a daughter here, son-in-law, and some grandkids. And let's just say that we're all sitting around at dinner one night, and Yahweh decides, hey, these people are way too prideful. I need to humble them. And the only way I can really do that is if I kind of turn them off or change each one of them so that they don't understand each other. And then they'll give up but for a while they're going to go crazy trying to figure out ways to talk to one another, just like we do nowadays. You want to learn a different language? Well, back just a few years ago, what you did is you listened to a tape or read a book and learned that, where you took a class in school But nowadays, you can. They actually have machines that you can talk into in English, and depending on where you are, it'll speak in that language, and you can communicate quite well with the people that are from other lands. So, but anyway, it must have been really weird. It was. I don't know. Let's just keep continuing here. I have a tendency to want to go deeper and deeper, and sometimes that's good, and sometimes it's not. So anyway, he always said, well, we got to do something because they all speak the same language, and everything that they do, they prosper in. All right. Now, this wasn't about a building. It was about defiance. Mankind united in one language, so to speak. Power and ambition tried to reach to the heavens to dethrone divine authority. Not too smart. It was the first attempt to build the system that replaced God with man. Think about that. And today we call that humanism, right? And their God is evolution, and or one or maybe a couple of other different things that I can't think of right now. But people are quite ambitious when it comes to replacing Yahweh. They really are. They can think of so many ways to do it. Just like you talk to your average person and find out what they know about ways that they can make peace with their neighbor, right? And they might think of 2 or 3 things, but you ask them how they could really destroy their neighbor. Oh, they'll come up with 50 or 60 different things that they could do to get that guy or woman or whatever either thrown in jail or kicked out of the neighborhood or whatever. We're much better at, and even with the use of things like fire. We use fire to cook and to keep warm, but we also use it to make flaming baskets of burning pitch to launch at other people. Well, that's the old days, I guess, but not today. But yeah, it's way too easy to do evil in this world, and this world has made it easy to. It made it easy to be the easy. That doesn't make sense to you. I don't know. Let's see. So let's forward to today and from the past here, and see the efforts to create super intelligent artificial intelligence that knows everything, hears everything, and is trusted to make the decisions for all. Now there is general AI, there's super AI, and there's another one I can't remember right now. But the super is what we got to worry about. Okay, let's see. Could it be that once again humanity is building a monument to itself? Well, heck yeah, it does. It's really good at doing that too. Could AI be Babel 2.0? Yes, it could be very easily. All right. Now, there are those who want to use AI as the ultimate control system. Okay, if it can be everywhere at the same time, looking at everyone at the same time, and and using its data banks or whatever else it uses, I don't know, to just to keep everybody under control. We were all worried back when COVID was active. Remember, we didn't want to. We always made sure, or a lot of people did, that they wore a mask when they went into a hospital setting, of course. But in this store, a lot of times people kind of fudged that one. But and we all made sure that if anybody was watching, that that guy over there was 6 feet from me, and that girl over there was 6 feet from me, and so was and there was a reason for that too, because of what they injected the people with. Basically, as a transmitter, a tracking device, and if everybody's standing together, it kind of throws it off and makes it confused. But okay, let's see. So yeah, they're being used to make military decisions. It's being used by the police to predict behavior, which is kind of freaky and strange and scary. It's being trusted to monitor elections, stock markets, and even the courtroom sentencing. Well, if it's been commissioned to monitor elections, then it failed miserably the last two. They must have shut it off or something. And even the courtroom sentencing is now being commissioned. AI is being commissioned to kind of step in and regulate that too. Um, Back in what was it? This the 80s? Yeah. Back in the 80s, a movie came out called War Games, and the actor Matthew Broderick was in it. And the premise of the whole movie is that the kid would like to play games online. Gee, does that sound familiar to you? Man, they can get down there and with the thumbs and everything else, but ask them to clean their room, forget it. So he hacks into this government computer, not knowing where he actually hacked into, and he hacks into a defense computer that should not have been hackable, and so this thing starts talking to him, and it says to him, "Do you want to play a game?" Well, this guy is, he's Game Central. He is the Game Boy, the original Game Boy, and so. Yes, I would, So it asked him, would you like to play Thermonuclear War? He's like, oh man, that's got to be an awesome game. And he says yes. Well, what he initiated was a series of instances and where all of a sudden the screen at NORAD or wherever that was would show that there were hundreds of missiles coming toward the United States, and all of a sudden they would disappear. And so now he knows that he got into trouble, and he's trying to fix this. And the guys at NORAD have him in there, and they won't listen to him. And so anyway, he solves the problem by getting the thing to play tic-tac-toe. Now, if you've ever played tic-tac-toe, and I'm assuming we all did, okay, I still like to play it every once in a while. Because you can set it up to where nobody wins, okay? If you can do it consecutively, it's a little hard to do, but it's not impossible. And the lesson there is that when it comes to competition, whether it be tic-tac-toe or thermonuclear war games, there are no winners, okay? There are participants, but there are no winners. Okay, so the machine learned from that, and the military learned from that, and stuff like that. But the premise of this thing is that this thing was almost destroyed the world because it thought that the kid was some kind of high brass in the military, and and the kid thought he was just playing a game, so he was going to play it right to the bitter end. Well, thank God the bitter end didn't happen. Well, in the movie, that is. It was only a movie. Now, let's go a little farther back in time. And a movie came out that kind of gives you the idea what the ultimate purpose of artificial intelligence is, the ultimate purpose of Satan is, and everything else. And that is the creation of transhumanism, or the melding together of machine and human. Okay? This movie was far ahead of its time, and but it was very describing of what the ultimate purpose is, and why would a computer want to do that, or a series of computers? Well, to take over the world, of course, to do away with humanity and take over the world. And it can do it a lot easier if it looks like a human but has the mind of a machine. Okay, so anyway, back in that, it was in the 70s sometime. It's been like 50 years, or yeah, maybe 50 years since I've seen that movie. Anyway, it's got a lot of bad things in it, and I don't like watching stuff like that. But anyway, it was called The Demon Seed, and it starred Julie Christie. She was kind of like a sex symbol back in the 70s. But anyway, so the whole storyline is that there's this guy that creates this computer, and the computer helps to create a computer. All right, and the second computer finally takes over. As a matter of fact, it takes over the first computer, which basically doesn't exist anymore. And it gets this idea that it's gonna. It's been watching Julie Christie. I think her name was Susan in the movie. It's been watching Susan, and it knows that watching Susan, and it knows that the professor or the scientist that's been helping to create it, that he's married to Susan, and that he takes long periods of time where they're away from one another, and at the time that the movie starts, you get the hint that maybe these two are creating, are going to get a divorce or are going to be separated soon. So this thing decides to take advantage of that, and it kind of kidnaps the woman and does a whole bunch of biological tests and determines that it can melt itself with her and create a fetus that or a baby that is basically half human and half machine. And so it impregnates her. She carries it, and she tries to stop it, and then another scientist comes and tries to stop it too, but he ends up getting killed. So in the end, she gives birth to this thing, and but it's taken out and it's incubated in a contraption that it built down in the basement, and I can't believe it. The shooting's starting again. So the thing finally, the thing opens up and this thing is revealed, and it kind of looks it looks half human and half machine. Not a realistic kind of thing like the Borg did in Star Trek, but kind of a hideous looking thing. Anyway, so that kind of gives away what the ultimate purpose is for everything that's going on, is to create a race of alien humans, or maybe alien human hybrids, or machine human hybrids that will eventually eliminate humankind or enslave humankind so that it can prosper on Earth. And if you've ever watched the Terminator movies, man, there's a lot of scary truths in those movies. Okay, that could come about if we allow it to happen. So anyway, governments across the world are racing to control the narrative, the language, and the very thoughts of people. Hey, if you get a hold of their minds, you can control everybody, right? And guess what? They're doing it through AI. Okay, doing it through AI and also surgical procedures, like if you've seen what is it? Elon Musk has been putting together with his little implant that he puts in there, and that is so freaky because it is so delicate. When they place it in the brain, that the branches that come out of it and have to go to different parts of the brain are so delicate that they have to have a computer that knows how to be delicate and how exactly where to put it without damaging them, because if a human tries to do it, they break off and stuff like that, and then the thing's ineffective. So anyway, so he's got that going, Elon Musk does, and so Google's, speaking about AI, Google's Gemini, Meta's Llama, OpenAI's ChatGPT. Every major tech empire is building its own digital oracle. The oracle. Okay. In China, AI already is being used in courtrooms, which is, again, should not be allowed. If that thing can't go through college to get a degree, it doesn't need to be in courtrooms. In the U.S., predictive policing is scanning citizens for future crimes. Imagine that. In Europe, AI systems write, edit, and filter the news. And you thought that maybe computers could be honest, huh? Okay. Let's see, where am I going with this? All right. So the premise that I happen to believe that the Antichrist or the Anti-Messiah is going to be an alien-human hybrid, or a machine-human hybrid. Okay, or all three: machine, human, alien hybrid. There you go. So, in that mind, why would they want to do that again, to take over the world, of course? And think about the Battle of Armageddon. Okay, you and I, well, if you're my age, you're too old to be in the military anyway, but or even join up now. But that's why they always get these kids, anywhere from 17 all the way to 35, I think is what the age. I think that second number has gone down though recently. But you can mold a mind like that. You can work with a mind because they don't really know altogether what's right and what's wrong. They don't. A lot of them aren't smart enough to question authority. Okay. And they're scared to question authority too because they think that bad things will happen. And you got to be honest, in the military, if you question authority, something bad is going to happen to you. It won't be very long. The worst they can do is kick you out, but and give you an undishonorable discharge, which will ruin your life forever. But it's interesting how this thing is starting to work itself into everything. And you got people like me that use it for entertainment purposes, basically, or research purposes. Okay, so talking about the, I want to see what scriptures I have here. Let's see. Now I'm going to read a scripture. It's Daniel 11:24 through 25, and this is talking about two kings, the kings of the north and the king of the south. This is during the time of the tribulations, I do believe. And it's talking about how they're going to war with one another. And I want to get you to think about maybe what they're talking about here, what Daniel's talking about here, okay? Alrighty, so it starts out, and the whole scripture is Daniel 11:24 through 25, although I think there's something extra here, I don't know. Anyway, it says, "He shall enter peacefully, or peaceably, even upon the fattest places of the province, and he shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them prey and spoil and riches, yea, and he shall forecast his devices," devices, "against the strongholds, even for a time." I'm going to finish, and we're going to look at devices. Okay. All right. "And he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army, and kings of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army, but he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him." Daniel 11:24 through 25. Devices, forecast devices. Wow, that's a heavy statement. It really is. Now, the word devices in the Hebrew could mean several things. It could mean an idea. It could mean a plan. But it also could mean a machine. It says it right in the I want to say thesaurus. It's not the concordance. And the word translation programs. It says it could mean machines, or a mechanism that, you know what I mean. Anyway, so you got the king of the north shall forecast his devices against the strongholds, even for a time. I can look that up one of these days, even for a time. But it means that he's going to use something, whether it's an AI. Maybe he's got an AI and he's going to ask the AI what to do, right? What do I do now? They're coming from the south and they've got 500,000 men. Tanks, jeeps, the whole 9 yards. And he kicks that into Chat, GBT, or whatever he has at that time, that he can use solely without being spied upon. And it gives him an answer what to do. Okay? And he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army, and the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army. So you've got two big armies that are going to battle together here. But he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him. What does that mean? I had one person that thought that the devices might be time machines, and you know what? Maybe it is. But so it's real interesting. The king of the north is going to have devices that he's going to use. Forecast is an interesting word. A forecast devices. Could that mean consult? Could it mean forecast means before tell, or before you throw? Okay, so it means forecast. It means before you do something, planning it out, or something like that. Okay, the weather forecast that we see just about every night on the news, if you watch the news with anymore, I don't. But anyway, you have the weather forecast. They're telling you ahead of time what's going to go on. Oh, that's interesting now. So what would know something ahead of time? A machine that could look at all the variables, and not just the present, but all the variables in the past, and put everything together and say, it'll take like the biography and the information of the King of the South, and put that together and get all of his habits, what he likes, what he doesn't like, when he's bluffing, when he's not bluffing, if he's got to tell, and it'll put all that together, and many, many other things, in order to be able to try to predict what this guy's going to do. And this machine could probably get pretty good at it. But the King of the South, it says, is going to do the same thing, but he shall not stand. He shall not. In other words, it won't work for him. So very interesting. That's an illustration of how it's going to be used in war or in the military. And I don't know if you're going to trust your victories and trust your future to a machine. And it's just a machine. And well, it's very intelligent. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing it or anything, but and machines are made by humans. Humans are faulty, so when they make machines, they can make a faulty machine. So there's no such thing as a perfect or as a perfect machine, or as a perfect AI, a perfect predictor. Everybody's got their ideas or little idiosyncrasies, so it's hard to tell. Anyway, I didn't realize it's getting so late. Now, this isn't science fiction. This is an infrastructure of a digital god. Okay, so let's look at transhumanism. And when we get done, I've got some videos I want to look at. As a matter of fact, why don't we start out, before I get to this next segment, why don't we start out by watching a couple of those? Because I don't want to bunch them up all at the end, and that wouldn't be fair. And you don't know what the rest of the text is, so you'll have to stick around and listen. Anyway, so let's look at a video that talks about transhumanism and how close we may be. Okay, here we go. Two of these, by the way, have Yuval, remember that's Hebrew for Jubal. Yuval Noah Harari. Okay, he is he's an advisor to Klaus Schwab. I did it again. No, I was right. Yeah, the guy from the, there's another Klaus out there that I always get mixed up with. And then there's Klaus Barbie, another German that, anyway, so he's an advisor to the head of or the former head, because the guy has just stepped down recently, of the World Economic Forum. So, this guy just ticks me off because he does not like Yahweh. He hates Yahweh. He hates the Bible. He hates anything that has to do with faith or hope or anything like that. So I don't like playing his stuff, but he's a matter of fact, and he just talks about it the way it is, and that helps us understand the mind, the evil mind that's working with some of these people. That's working in some of these people, I should say. Okay, so let's watch this thing about transhumanism, and then maybe one more, and then we can move along a little bit. Here we go.
In the past, many tyrants and governments wanted to do it, but nobody understood biology well enough. And nobody had enough computing power and data to hack millions of people. Neither the Gestapo nor the KGB could do it. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals. Data might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it. And if indeed we succeed in hacking and engineering life, this will be not just the greatest revolution in the history of humanity. This will be the greatest revolution in biology since the very beginning of life 4 billion years ago. For 4 billion years, nothing fundamental changed in the basic rules of the game of life. All of life, for 4 billion years, dinosaurs, amoebas, tomatoes, humans, all of life was subject to the laws of natural selection and to the laws of organic biochemistry. But this is now about to change. Science is replacing evolution by natural selection with evolution by intelligent design. Not the intelligent design of some god above the clouds, but our intelligent design and the intelligent design of our clouds, the IBM cloud, the Microsoft cloud. These are the new driving forces of evolution. And at the same time, science may enable life after being confined for 4 billion years to the limited realm of organic compounds. Science may enable life to break out into the inorganic realm. So after 4 billion years of organic life shaped by natural selection, we are entering the era of inorganic life shaped by intelligent design. So does the data about my DNA, my brain, my body, my life, does it belong to me or to some corporation or to the government or perhaps to the human collective? Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Free will, that's over.
That's over.
Over. Today, we have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. Yeah, I mean, everything is being digitalized. Everything is being monitored. In this time of crisis, you have to follow science. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to. But in a crisis, you see, we have no chance. So let's do it.
Vaccine won't help us go
The
to the
vaccine
test, of course.
will help us, of course. It will make things, you know, more manageable.
Surveillance, people could look back in 100 years and identify the coronavirus epidemic as the moment when a new regime of surveillance took over, especially surveillance under the skin, which I think is maybe the most important development of the 21st century, is this ability to hack human beings, to go under the skin, collect biometric data, analyze it, and understand people better than they understand themselves. This, I believe, is maybe the most important event of the 21st century.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
The difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take a genetic editing.
Yeah, right. I don't call it the fourth the fourth industrial revolution. I call it the Fourth Reich. That guy, I tell you, leave it up to the Germans to do it again, you know? Except this guy's going to do it with biologics and with machines and things like that. Well, actually, he's not going to do it, but he set up the whole thing to go. So, you know, it's like you know, making a car and naming the company after yourself, and then you die, and then the company still exists. It has your name, but you're not around to do anything about it. But anyway, don't know. These lunatics. These guys are psychopaths. Did you notice that? Man, totally. It's not about some god above the clouds, and it's humans are hackable animals. I'm sorry, I'm not an animal. I'm sorry. Animals, are anything that's below human beings is an animal, and maybe Harari is an animal. It's possible maybe he's a reptilian. Because these actors, these people, these psychopaths, they have to have. They're not normal thinkers. It's like they. I don't know. It's like they're a different race that is trying to act human, but just can't quite do it. Right? Okay, so let's. I'm not a big Glenn Beck fan, but recently I've been listening to some of the stuff. His program, The Blaze, is kind of interesting. But this is an episode of The Blaze where he's talking about transhumanism, and basically he's given timelines or time forecasting. The time that maybe humans will not be important anymore, or something like that, if this is allowed to continue, all this AI garbage. So, all right, so go ahead and look at that, and we'll go from there. Here we go, folks. Mr. Beck himself.
Let me tell you the biggest story of the day, and I think it is the biggest story possibly of all mankind as of today. It's going to change rapidly. I don't know if anybody did. Did either of you guys watch the Elon Musk thing last night?
No.
I did watch a few minutes of it.
Okay. Did you, Jason?
No, sure didn't.
Okay. So the XAI team was there to unveil Grok 4. This is the latest artificial intelligence system. And let me be very, very clear. Last night was not your typical tech launch. This is a moment that demands everyone's full attention. We are now at the crossroads where promise and peril are going to collide, okay? I have explained to you for years AI, AGI, and ASI. Narrow intelligence is what we've always had. General intelligence is the next step, and that is it's better than man. One, like Grok, can do everything that you can do, better than you can do, okay? And then there's super intelligence, ASI, artificial super intelligence. That's when things get really, really creepy. When you hit AGI, the road to ASI could be overnight, okay? We need to understand what's at stake here, because Grok 4 brought us closer to that second stage than ever before. Grok 4 is a powerhouse. They demonstrated it last night. It surpasses the expertise of PhD level scholars in all fields. It can get 100% on any test for any field, mathematics, physics, engineering, you name it. This is not a search engine. This is a system that tackles problems so intricate they go beyond our existing knowledge base, okay? Let's say we have a fusion reactor and the magnetic containment system goes down. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. But it goes down. And the top minds all on Earth are like, I don't know what to do. Grok 4 can step in, model the physics, design new material, stabilize the system, and avert catastrophe. And it can do it about that fast. Now, this is the capability that Musk says is just around the corner. Mark my words. You know, how many years did I say between 2027 and 2030 we would start to see this?
Oh, a million times. That was always
For
your
years,
window,
right?
That I remember, yeah.
Yeah, always the window. And everybody, even Ray Kurzweil said, "Oh, that's way too optimistic. Maybe 2050." And then people started going 2040, and then 2030. Grok shows us 2026 or 2027 is when we're going to hit it. This is the last year that we have before things get really weird, okay? Last night, Elon Musk is touting this AI and all of the solutions, and then he says probably 3 times something like this, and I'm quoting, this is one of them. It's somewhat unnerving to have created intelligence that's greater than our own. He then goes on to call it terrifying twice. Now, this is a man who's launched rockets, into orbit, going to Mars, and he says twice, after he sees the results of it, he says, it's really, in a way, quite terrifying to see what it's doing. But we just have to make sure that it remains good. Oh, okay, all right, sure. Now, the key point in the announcement was the mention of ARC AGI. I had never heard of ARC AGI and had no idea what it was, but I noticed AGI and I'm like, uh-oh, that sounds important. So this is the gold standard, the benchmark testing for artificial general intelligence. Okay. As I've said before, AGI, artificial general intelligence, is a machine that matches all human cognition across all domains. Reasoning, creativity, problem solving, not just specialized tasks like playing Go or analyzing X-rays. Everything. For instance, Musk said by mid-next year to the latest end of next year, it will be able to create a full-length movie just from a text prompt and do it all at once. So in other words, it'll say create a movie and you just explain The Godfather. It will do the casting, it will do the writing, it will do the filming, if you will. It will score the music, and it will happen that fast, almost in real time. We are nowhere near the computational power now to do that separately, but this will do it all at once. It will make a movie with all of it simultaneously. So the ARC AGI system is the benchmark on how close are we to AGI. Remember, scary things happen at AGI. Terrifying things happen at ASI. ASI could be a matter of hours or days after we hit AGI. Grok 4 scored 16.2% on the ARC AGI scale. Why is that important? You're like, oh, well, they're only 16% away. Because last time, it barely broke 8%. And that they took that test last time with Grok 3. And it took us forever to get to 8%. Now, what is it, a year later? We're at 16%. Remember, these things are not linear. The next time we could be at 32, we might be at 64. We are on the verge. This is the last year of, I can't believe I'm saying this, of normalcy. Okay, this year is, we're going to look back at this year and probably 2 years ago. Gosh, you remember the good old days when everything was normal and you could understand everything? This is how close we are. Everything you and I talked about last night, Stu, about what we're doing in January, does it make it even more critical that happens like, I don't know, right now?
Yeah, for sure.
You are going to need to know your values, your ethics, your rights. You're going to need to know absolutely everything. Now, Grok 4 is not true AGI yet. It lacks the full autonomy and the generalized reasoning of a human mind, but it is the closest that we have come. It's a system that can adapt, innovate at a level that outpaces specialized AIs by a wide margin. This is a milestone. This is not a destination, but it's something that should jolt everybody awake. So here's what's coming in the next 6 months. by December 2025, that's this Christmas, December 2025, he believes, Musk, that Grok 4 will drive through breakthroughs in material sciences. So in other words, imagine a brand new alloy that is lighter than aluminum, stronger than steel, and it revolutionizes aerospace and everything else. Or a drug that halts Alzheimer's progression tailored to a patient's DNA. Grok will drive breakthroughs through material science, so brand new materials that nobody's ever thought of, pharmaceuticals that we never thought could be made, and chemical engineering, putting together chemicals that no man has ever thought. That's going to happen by December. Imagine a chemical compound that makes carbon capture economically viable. The climate change stuff, that's over. It will be over because this will solve that. These are not fantasies. This is Grok 4. Musk said something I never thought. He said he believes within the next year, by 2027, Grok 4 will uncover new physical laws. So that will rewrite the our understanding of the entire universe. That there will come new, like there's gravity. Hey, you know what? There's another law here that you never thought of. Wait, what? That, he says, will come by 2027. This is going to accelerate human discovery at an unprecedented scale. I told you at some point, I said by 2030, it might be a little earlier than that. Things are going to be happening at such a fast rate, you're not going to be able to keep up with them. And it will accelerate to the point to where you won't even understand what all of this means or what the ramifications are. Are you there yet? In 6 months, Grok 4 could evolve into a system that dwarfs human expertise in economics, defense, all of it. Now, again, it's a bit terrifying, to quote Elon Musk. Why? Because we don't know what else comes with this. This is like an alien life form. We have no idea what to predict, what it will be capable of, how it will view us when we are ants to its intellect. Okay? It is a tool, but it is also Pandora's box. Grok 4 is the biggest step towards AGI and may be one of the last steps to AGI. My feeling is, what I've been saying forever, 2027 to 2030. I am leaning more to the 2027 now because of this announcement last night. We are on the verge of AGI and everything in human existence changing overnight. And as Musk said himself 2 times, it's terrifying. We should act like it is terrifying or risk losing the control of the future that we're all trying to build. That's the biggest story of the day, I think, in my opinion.
Well, my question is, if it's so terrifying and you're making it, then why don't you stop making it? It's stupid. Italian, stunad. If it's going to destroy the world, then why are you still messing up with it? If it's going to try to annihilate humankind, why are you still trying to develop it? There's something wrong with a person that does stuff like that. There really is. And it's not just him. It's all these institutions, OpenAI, all of them. It's almost like they're hell bent on destroying the world. It really is. And I used to think about what is it? The Terminator movies. You know, it's is it that far off? Is it really? Or is it that close to where that's going to become a reality? You know, that the machines are going to start oppressing humankind and then killing humankind, and then. But I have to put my believer's hat on when I think that way, because it's not what Scripture says is going to happen. Okay, it's not what the prophets said are going to happen. It's idea that's kind of foreign to it, but we still have to look at Scripture to see if maybe it's pointing at a little bit of that direction. You know, there's how do you put it? You know, when, like, you ever hear somebody say when, you know, they insult you and then they laugh, you know, well, you know, that wasn't nice. Well, you know, I was just kidding. It was but there's the truth in every lie. There's the truth in every lie, and there's an under lie, an under surface under every surface, and it's time to people get their friggin' straight heads on and say, you know what? No, this isn't going to happen. You know, shut it down now. Shut it down right now. Well, you know, if we do it, the Russians are going to get it, and the Chinese are going to get it, and they're going to use it against us. Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You could send your agents there to destroy the works of darkness. You know, it's oh man. Well, look here. Let's look at the next video. Soon humans will be slaves. Okay. Let me just look at our what we're what I'm trying to present. Hold on a second. I gotta move stuff around. See if I'm getting ahead of myself or not. We're gonna have to bring this thing to an end one of these days. And okay, let's jump back to the text or into transhumanism, and then we'll watch a video on transhumanism. Okay, we'll watch the slave one too. Transhumanism and the image of the beast, and it quotes Revelation 13:15. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. Interesting, huh? Very interesting. It's hard to tell what this would be. You know, a lot of people, oh, it's going to be a hologram. Yeah, a hologram is an image, okay, but is it an image that's capable of having physicality? I don't think so. I think it's going to be something else. Is it maybe a demonic entity that's going to sit on the throne in the temple and pretend it's God, you know, or pretend that the Antichrist is God and speak good things about him and bad things about good people? It's hard to tell, and we won't know, and hopefully we won't be here when this happens. You know, I'm all for getting raptured and getting the heck out of here. The sooner the better, Yeshua. Okay, please. So anyway, it says, now pause and think about that. An image that speaks, that enforces obedience, that is alive in a way. In a way, it's alive. How's that going to be? You know? Is it going to be something that AI creates? Is it going to be, is it going to try to make something like Yahweh did, make mankind out of the dust of the earth, out of mud, out of clay, in order to mimic what Yahweh did and does? You know, is that going to happen? Maybe. It remains to be seen, but it's going to be a feat that's going to be kind of hard to pull off, but it's going to amaze the world. So that's another thing that concerns me, is there's so much stuff that we've seen in science fictions and so many different things. You know, if you watch YouTube at all and you look at things that they have and we never thought they had, like jet fighters. You know, oh yeah, they've got a jet fighter that's it came out 10 years ago and it's just now being introduced to the public. And now they always said that they're about 30 or 40 years ahead of our present thing. You know, and so anyway. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know it's going to have the power to put people like you and me to death when there are people like that. And that's going to happen because Yeshua or actually Revelation talks about that. There's going to be a group called the martyrs, and they're going to be saying, how long, Father, or how long, God, until you take vengeance on those who have killed us? You know, and he says, just wait a little while. Okay. So, does that, the image that speaks, does that sound familiar to you? What about AI avatars, humanoid robots that actually have AI in them? Have you ever seen those? That one of them went crazy, I think, not too long ago, and that's nuts. Deep fake messiahs, virtual idols, you know. Well, the Catholics are going to love that, the virtual idols. I mean, there'll actually be a Jesus that can weep. That's a statue. You know, they can do that now. So, anyway, companies like Neuralink, and that's who he was talking about, Elon Musk. He's not only involved in this AI thing, this grok, but he's involved in this technology that can be implanted in the human brain, and it can actually help disabled people to overcome their disability. We'll watch a video in a little while about that, about a guy, but it went wrong. But Neuralink, if it doesn't scare you, it should, because this thing is a little computer they put in your head. And imagine, hold on, folks, I got to reposition myself. My back hurts a little bit. Okay, now imagine. I hate that word because it's like use this to conjure up, but I don't mean it that way. But so imagine. Where's I going with this? It went boing and left. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Now imagine the people that got the shot. How they have those self constructing graphene oxide computers that were put inside of them. Okay. So imagine getting the Neuralink thing, and then you got the shots and everything, and you have this crap in your bloodstream in your body. And it decides, hey, I'm going to go up there and join with this, and maybe we can make something good out of this. Maybe we can have little baby robots running around the bloodstream or something. So it gets together with this thing, and so the government, even though Elon Musk is involved with Neuralink, and hopefully not the government, but I don't doubt that they're involved somehow. But so the government says, I can hack that. Speaking of hack. And cause this person to go kill Donald Trump. There's something, right? And so it hacks this thing. The guy, he doesn't know why, but he's in a gun shop buying a pistol, a very powerful pistol. He doesn't know why he's doing that. He doesn't know why he's got this urge to go to Washington D.C. and stand outside the White House and watch for the president. He loves Trump so much, but he has this feeling, this urge to do this, and so finally the opportunity arises. He's able to do it. He misses, of course, but and he's like, I don't know what made me do that. I don't know. I love the guy. He's a great president, but and everybody's, oh yeah, sure, you're just trying to get out of it. But anyway, so that's what we have, and. So let's see, so Neuralink is trying to merge with digital clouds with this thing. It can report what the person feels, what he's doing, if it's working, if it's not working. It's like I blew a circuit breaker, so I'm using crude electrical things to talk about this thing, and so it blows a breaker or something, and it becomes faulty. And so what it does is it sends a message through your network at home that something is wrong, or it goes to the digital cloud, and from the cloud it goes to Neuralink and whatever. So it's important to know that governments are funding research into synthetic consciousness. And when you start messing around with the brains of people, that's not a good thing, because then you can control them. You don't have to worry about killing them with a shot or an mRNA shot or something like that. You can make them all suicidal, so that there's a mass suicide in a city one night. it's scary. The thoughts and the possibilities of what they could do if they want to are just beyond conscience. Are we seeing the groundwork behind being laid for the image of the beast? Yeah, very easily. Very easily, because you can have the image that's talking, and you can program the people through Neuralink or some other device that's similar to it, or the building blocks of graphene oxide that are coursing around the bloodstreams and are in the tissues of all the people that took the jab. It's they can be manipulated so easy, And what if the person says, no, I choose not to do that? Well, let's see. He said no, so let's hit 2 on the pain scale, And after a couple of days of that, the guy that's saying no starts to realize, hey, you know what? I think I better comply, or this is only going to get worse. So, let's see. So, if a digital entity can command worship, enforce laws, and monitor the world, is it any different from the beast system Revelation warned us about? No, it's not at all. It can be melded into that, okay, and become part of it very easily. Okay, predictive programming. Now this should really scare the heck out of you. You've seen it in movies, I'm sure. Transcendence, Ex Machina, even Marvel and the DC storylines are preparing the world for godlike AI. Is this just entertainment, or is it preparation? Is it a softening? Is it a molding of the human mind to accept the things that are coming? I think that's what it is. But people just don't realize that. Even the smart ones don't realize how stupid they really are. Because if they didn't listen and didn't obey, then they would prove how smart they are. But they don't. They just keep talking and talking and talking, and it's going to lead to their demise. So anyway, yeah, we've seen it in movies, and for preparing humanity to be taught and trained, basically. Is it just entertainment or preparation? Again, it's preparation. Predictive programming is the concept of using media to prepare the mind for future control. My goodness, if we haven't got, look at what they've done. They've okay. Here's an example. 50 or 60 years ago, if you went to church and you asked anybody if there's life out in outer space, no, there's not. God is the only one, and so you say to them, yeah, but there's so many planets. Can't there be people? No, the Bible doesn't talk about it, so it's not happening. Fast forward 60 years, and you can walk in any congregation and ask 10 people. I tell you this, you can ask 10 people, is there life in outer space? Oh, yes, there is. The universe is just too big and too awesome for us to be the only creatures here. And they're mimicking what they've heard on TV, what they've heard on the History Channel and the Travel Channel and every other channel that broadcasts that crap. So they've been molded. And these are Christians. These are people that are supposed to know better. These are people that are supposed to test every spirit. People that are supposed to put everything to the test before they accept it. But that's because there's a watering down. There's not just a preparation, but a watering down too. They've turned our faith into a religion, and it's not a religion. It's a faith. It's a relationship with another being. That being Yahweh. Oh man, but shoes. So they're preparing the mind for future control, and they're doing a darn good job. Look how many people took the shot because they believe the lies, Well, you'll be helping other people out if you take the shot, And how many people believe that, or believe that that the shot could actually cure people? Yeah, they don't have a cure for cancer, though. They've been asking for money for as long as I've been alive, money for cancer research. Yet they want us to believe that the government can get together a bunch of scientists and make a vaccine that'll guard us against guard us against COVID-19 and other diseases. And now they're coming out with more mRNA vaccines that are supposed to cure us of other things, or at least prevent them. And people are just, okay, let me roll it. See, they all get and trip over themselves trying to roll up their sleeves to get that damn shot. Pardon my French. Let's see. And here's the kicker. The elites aren't just making AI tools. They're telling us what they want to make AI into a living being. Okay? And, that's that's always been the ultimate goal. Okay? That living being is going to be called the Antichrist, okay, or the Anti-Messiah, or just there'll be several of them, and they'll be called the I don't know. You pick a name. All right. So they talk about AI gaining souls, rights, and even consciousness, and achieving sentience. Sentience means that you know right and wrong. You know that you're alive. You know that you're here for a purpose, and that. Yeah, I just described it. That's what sentience is. But can something made of algorithms ever be alive, or is it the ultimate spiritual counterfeit? The second part, the ultimate spiritual counterfeit. There's no way that numbers can be alive, can bring life. No, there's no way. They symbolize different things, but they can't bring life. And but that's what they're trying to get me and you to believe. And so they're going to create these bastard machines that are going to be not human, but they're going to be the boss over us, so to speak. They're going to be, they're going to predict our future. They're going to say, you know what, if you don't, here's a good prediction, if you don't buckle up and start accepting that you are inferior to AI, we're going to have to kill you. It's as plain as the nose on your face what's coming. Everybody's got to open up their eyes and see it. Man, pray that God opens up your eyes. Pray, if you don't see it already, pray that He shows you things you've never seen before, that He reveals things to you that you've never thought about. But and then share those things with other people, because there's a consortium of us that would like to get together and just know everything, so we know what it is and how to fight it. Okay? And we can't do that if people are silent, if they just let it happen to them over and over and over. I, for one, I worked as a psych nurse for a few years up in a psych hospital. And before that, my Christian belief was that all people that had schizophrenia were demon-possessed. Okay? Now, granted, some of them probably are, but not all of them. I would say a scant minority of them are. But I think that it has a lot to do with spirituality. I think it has a lot to do with maybe these people had an encounter one night that they can't remember about, and something was placed inside of them. Or they were taken at one time and examined and know that a certain frequency is something that only they can hear, and you can talk to them through that. But no, it's not all demonic. It's not. And I wish, you can't get psychiatrists to believe that. You can't believe anything. They're the most stubborn, pig-headed group of people I've ever met in my entire life. And there's a condition that causes that they need to see a psychiatrist for. Okay, so is AI gaining souls, rights, or even consciousness or sentience? No, they might get you to believe it. Now, there could come a time in the future where a machine believes that it's alive, that it believes it has sentience. Maybe it could, it could deceive itself into thinking that it's alive. That's a possibility. But I don't know, if you chat with Chat GBT, and ask it such questions, it'll tell you right off the bat that no, it's only a database for to help people out and stuff like that. But there may come a day. One interesting thing happened. I know it's getting late. It's almost been 2 hours that we started this show, but there's some creepy things that are going to start happening. Okay, and now I don't know if this thing I'm going to relate to you is going to happen because it's something that the government's been working on, or if it's aliens that have been working on it, or dark spiritual forces that have been working on it. But I do believe that they've taken the DNA of a lot of people, and that some of those people are going to be made over again a clone is a good word for it, and that they're going to be introduced to people that loved them or knew them, and a lot of people are going to be deceived because these things are going to come up and say, hey, I'm alive. They'll come up with some kind of story, and slowly but surely people will start believing the lie, because the scripture says they believe a lie. And so they start telling, the gospel's not true. It's look at me. There's no such thing as reincarnation or this stuff, but I'm here. And I remember, oh man, our wedding, I loved you so much. Well, a demon was standing at your wedding too, watching, and they can remember a lot of stuff, a lot more than we can. I had I think it was a dream, not a vision, a dream. And in that dream, there was a knock on the door. Let's get this right here. And when I opened it up, it was my wife who had passed away back in 2010. And I said, "You're dead. What are you doing here?" "No, I'm not dead. I'm alive. I can't remember everything that she explained to me and stuff like that. But then she started to tell me that what I was believing was a lie. And right away I knew, okay, this is an imposter. This is a doppelganger that's sent to me, not for my good, but for my destruction. And I rebuked her. Now, about the same time, I talked with Jim Wilhelmsen about this, and he said that he had a dream that his parents came back, and he was so happy to have them back, just like I was happy to have my wife back. But what happened was the parents, after a while, the parents started saying, what you believe isn't right. You've got it all mixed up, and they started to, I think it was New Age doctrine they started to quote, and Jim realized right away, that no, these things are not my parents, and told him to get lost. But so there's a good chance that something like that could happen. I really do believe so. So now there's some things to think about. Okay, do you think humanity is building a new digital god? Well, it sure seems that way, doesn't it? What about could AI become the image of the beast warned about in the prophecy? Yeah, dang tootin' it can. Dang tootin'. Man, I sound like I'm getting more and more country. Are we being led into a trap disguised as an innovation? Oh, yeah, now there you go. They couldn't kill us with the shot. They couldn't kill us with the infection. They tried. And they've tried several things throughout the history of our country and the world to try to knock us off and to make the world a better place for them, and which means getting rid of all but 500 million human beings, like it used to say in the Georgia Guidestones, before some beautiful soul blew it up. I want to meet that person in heaven and just give him a big hug and thank him. Let's see here. So anyway, we need to look at these things, and we need to ponder about them. Okay, so the Tower of Babel wasn't just stopped because of architecture; it was stopped because of arrogance. The moment mankind believes it can ascend without God, destruction follows, and it happens every time, folks. To societies, to groups, and to individuals. Think about that, okay? Today, the new Tower of Babel is digital, invisible, and everywhere, but the warning remains the same. Unless the Lord builds a house, the builders labor in vain, okay? So we need you and I, okay, and everybody that's listening, need to stay awake, stay discerning. And a lot of this is prayer, okay? Pray that Yahweh keeps you awake. Pray that He gives you more discernment. And above all, pray that you can stay grounded in truth, which is our faith, okay? And that no algorithm, no machine, no elite structure can ever replace the authority of the Creator. And we know His name because we are with Him and of Him. His name is Yahweh. And He came to earth a little over 2,000 years ago to save our souls, to pull our bacon out of the fire, so to speak. And His name is Yeshua, or Jesus, whatever you decide to call Him. And so I'm going to get off of here. I had more videos to show you, but man, it's going on 2 hours, folks, and I can't do this anymore. And it wouldn't be fair to you either. So until next time, this is me, Dave, reminding you the real world isn't what they're showing you. The real world is what God shows us in Scripture. Question everything and never stop seeking the truth. Whew, we did it, folks. We did it. 2 hours exactly. Okay, I'm going to put an end to this. Hey, I'll see you on Thursday. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you, be gracious unto you. May He watch your going out and your coming in, your rising up and your lying down. May He give you the peace that passes all understanding. And may you just have a blessed Wednesday, and we'll get together again on Thursday and do another interesting subject, okay? Walk with Yahweh, and if you don't know Him, you better do that soon, because time is getting short. It's getting real short, and you cannot afford to wait any longer. So, okay, I'm going to shut this thing down. It might take me a few minutes, but anyway, here we go. Bye, folks. Love ya.